record since we use the town one.
That time? I don't even know what time it is.
Yep, I think it's 6:30. So I will call the meeting of the Conservation Commission, both remote and in-person participation, open. I will entertain a motion to approve the March 1st minutes.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. We have 3 new public hearings. First on the agenda is 450 East Center Street. Do we have somebody here to present for that? Somebody remotely presenting for that, John? Do we know?
Yep.
Can you hear us, Amanda?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Great.
All right, and this is for a notice of intent and a general stormwater permit for SMB Realty Trust to replace a failed septic system within 100 feet of a wetland. So we are,
Correct. Now, I don't believe we filed general stormwater permit. I believe the square footage of disturbance did not require us to do that.
All right, either way, we'll be covered. If it's an administrative, you'll be covered.
Would you like me to proceed with presenting?
Can you present, or do you need me to present it?
If you can show it, I can explain.
All right.
From what I hear, sharing screen is kind of tricky. All right.
It's even tricky for me.
I have much faith in you, John.
All right, I think, can you see it, Amanda? No, I'm not sharing it, sorry. Hold on.
I cannot.
No.
There we go. Perfect.
It's all yours.
Great. Thank you. So my name is Amanda Langer. I'm here with PMP Associates on behalf of James King with SBM Realty to request permission from the commission to replace an existing failed septic system at 450 Center Street in West Bridgewater. The building is a commercial building. It has 3 separate tenants in it at the moment, one of which is a general store that's been there forever, an antique store. They're only there a few days a week, and then a somewhat new cafe, Two Gals Grill. These tenants, I guess, have long-term leases, so they will be there for a while. The current system is failing. The owner said he has to pump it probably about every 3 to 4 weeks at the moment. So what we are proposing is to replace the existing septic tank and leaching field with a new leaching field with a geogrid, new distribution box, and a partial poly barrier, and we are going to be able to use the existing grease trap there. There is a little bit of disturbance in the 50-foot, and that is just for earthwork grading purposes, so that we have enough cover over the system to avoid it failing again. We do show the proposed wetland markers, the erosion control. There's going to be construction exit, the dewatering basin, material stockpile area. The anticipated area of disturbance is less than 5,000 square feet. It's only 4,800. So I don't even think that we apply for the administrative with this one either. And that's pretty much the gist of it. It's already been approved through Board of Health as well.
pretty tight spot, not much area to work in to begin with, so pretty good to squeeze it in there. John, any questions, comments?
No issues.
How old is that building? How old is the septic system that's there now?
The septic system that's there now is actually, I believe, the original one from like the 90s. It's old.
Okay.
Anybody else, comments, questions?
I take it all these outbuildings were done long before
I
the
couldn't hear what he said.
50-foot buffer.
Yeah.
So the question, Amanda, was, the other buildings there, they were done way back and not part of this project.
No.
But I have no questions on.
Then I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Motion to close?
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Moved.
Aye.
So moved. I'll entertain a motion to issue a standard order of conditions and allow work within the 50-foot.
I'll make that motion.
And that's just because of the grading.
Right.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
So moved. All right.
Well, thank you very much, everyone. I hope you have a great evening.
Thank you, you too.
You too.
Next, we have 0 United Drive. And this is for a notice of intent and a general stormwater permit for construction, buildings, parking, septic systems, stormwater management within 100 feet of wetland resources.
I'm just gonna come around the front.
Sure.
Yep.
Is this,
Around the front, maybe
is this Snell's property?
the snow.
Bring that up.
Sure. Is anybody in the audience here that's unfamiliar with the project here for this? Do you need to see? Because I point the drawing towards you,
And it'll be up
and then,
there.
and then I can point where you are here, and John can point up there. And
Okay.
you can see where everything is.
Before we start, has everybody signed the clipboard that you've attended this meeting? Okay.
Oops. Right way. I took the wrong ones. There we go. Hey. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dave Clinic from Collins Engineering. I haven't been here for a while. It's good to see everybody. Correct me if I get this wrong, but with me here tonight, I'm gonna try to do it around robin here, because there's a bunch of players involved. Scott Rubin, the attorney.
Yes.
Jay Hauser, he's the owner president of Authors. Brian Robinson,
Yep.
right? He is the Department of Operations. And we have David Mitchell, and he is the contract manager. So they're all part of what's going on here tonight, and this is formerly known as 24 Manley Street. In the assessor's office, they now have it as 0 United Drive. So we filed it under 0 United Drive. But it does have frontage on Manley Street, very little frontage right there. How it got that address, I'm not sure. But first thing I'd like to do is give the green cards. I don't know which ones you take, John, I got both of them. You can have both of them if you want, I mean,
Yeah.
All right.
I have copies of all those. And the second thing I'd like to do here tonight is, I'd like to submit, this is a revised plan. I sent The revised plans to Mr. Delano, I don't know if he has them up here tonight. They were sent out this afternoon. But the revised plans just basically have some revised parking calculations. We're still working with the architect to try to figure out warehouse space and office space. We added the access doors from the architect with the sidewalk access. And let me see, we added a generator, a transformer location, that sort of thing that's going to affect the 50, within the 50 or the 100-foot buffer. I also added a Mass DEP stone stabilizer pad detail and notes. There was one on the original, but I wanted to beef it up a little bit because this is going to be a site where trucks are going to be entering and exiting quite a bit during construction. So I added that on one of the detail sheets with the maintenance program to keep dirt from coming out onto Union Street, onto United Drive.
So you have revision 2?
We're on revision 1.
One, still 1.
Yep, revision 1.
When you make changes though, don't you change the revision or not? So, when you, this is a revised?
This is a revised from the ones that you got originally.
So what's the date on this plan?
That's 3/4/2020.
Got it, okay,
Yep.
this is the one we have,
And in this package here, I also do hydraulic mounting analysis, which I did not present in the first package. It's just the hydraulic mounting analysis for the infiltration systems. And I also added a waiver for the 50-foot buffer, which I neglected to put in the original package. So I'd like to submit this, these 3 things
Alrighty.
as a hard copy. See how this works. So, what's in over here? There's a bunch of zones here. I mean, if you name it, we're probably in it. But there are zones that are come in and come out, and there are zones that go along the area of construction. So I'm going to try to describe these zones as best as I can. We'll start with the riverfront. There's a Queesit Brook across United Drive, and we have a 200-foot riverfront area cutting across the northeast side of the property. The yellow, of course, is the property line. The orange, we have a wetland line delineated by Brooke Monroe, Walter Hewitson. This goes back to 2016. It's right at the bottom of the slope. It's in this green area. And there's posts all the way along here for every single one of these numbers. And that is in green. We have a old flood zone line. It's black and it's dashed. This is, we got a LOMA, which is a letter of map amendment, and we were able to take out everything, all the upland area from the flood zone, and that's part of the notice of intent. So that's all part. We have the DEP filing, the DEP approval letter. They took it, they removed it from flood zone. The reason why they moved it is because the flood elevation is 74 across the street, and it never gets it never gets lower than 75 at Union Street. On United Drive. So we proved to the FEMA that water could never come across United Drive at elevation 75. At elevation 74. It just couldn't do it. And they agreed with us, and they took it out of the flood zone. So that is the dashed black line. Okay, we have the 50-foot buffer in the orange and the 100-foot buffer in the red. We have a purple line here, which is the limit of work line that was agreed upon through this commission prior to Mr. Snell, who was here, by the way, he just walked in, granting the land to the Conservation Commission. This is also in a ACEC. It's in a Zone 2 because of the well across the street. And the ACEC is the wood line. It's pretty much the wood line. Some of the ACEC comes up along here. But we have a letter from the wildlife fish and game, and they said that there is no impact to the habitat or the species for this project, and that's part of your file as well. So that's everything in a nutshell as far as all the zones that we're in and what we're doing, or not what we're doing, but what we are up against. So let's go to the first page. Let's go to page 3. And this is just a building and parking layout plan. Once again, I have the property in yellow. I have the 200-foot riverfront area. I have the 50-foot, the 100-foot, the limit of work line, the wetland line. And what we're proposing here is a 34,000 square foot building, 34 and change. We're gonna have 19,000 plus of office, 24,000 plus of warehouse space. More than adequate parking for the whole area. We're gonna have an access drive, or an accessory building out here that's 20 by 30. It's gonna be a garage. It's gonna be for storage and maintenance. Nothing hazardous, nothing chemical. These guys are high tech. Things come in, they put it together, they ship it out. There's no manufacturing here. It's all high tech equipment. We're gonna have a dumpster here. This is a compactor dumpster, which is outside the 100. So the things that are inside the 100 would be some of the parking. There's a retaining wall here in this dark line. There's another retaining wall over here outside. There is a gravel drive here for access to the back. There's a basin back here. And, or not, yeah, there's a outlet pipe back here. And this shows the proposed sidewalks that have been changed, and access doors. And this pretty much is just the layout. There'll be two entrances, and they will both be for exiting and egressing, so they can come in either way. These are large radiuses. 18-wheelers can make this very easily. The loading docks are a full loading docks with a 4-foot foundation shown. All the grading is going away from the building. I wanted to make sure that there was no puddling or icing up against the building when that happens. So they have 3 loading docks. They have actually 3 loading docks and a trash compactor. This entrance here is going to be a ramp that goes into the building, and we do propose a floor drain. There's going to be a generator over here for power in case they lose it. This floor drain will drain out to a oil water separator, which would drain into a contained vault, which will have to be maintained.
What color is the 50-foot?
The orange right here. So you can see the orange goes right up along here.
There's an awful lot of work in the 50 then.
There's an awful lot of work in the 50.
Related to what was just talked about, explain again what the purple line is here.
Well, the purple line is the limit of work line that was originally accepted by this commission from the granting of the land to the town from Mr. Ronald Snow.
Which allows work up to the purple line.
Yeah, we don't go beyond the purple line. And the purple line's about 2 or 3 feet from the wetland line. The closest that we have, our siltation fence is 5 feet from the wetland line. So we're gonna have a tiny buffer. This is just a large scale drawing so you can see a little bit better. It shows the number of parking spaces. I don't show any of the buffer zones on here because it's mostly for layout purposes to see how traffic's gonna flow, where things are in relationship to the building itself, the proposed building. You can see that these LIs, these are all landscape islands, and there's quite a few of them. We're gonna have snow removal. There's a 10-foot grass strip right along here, all snow removal. This will all be snow removal in here, and this will all be snow removal up here. So there's there's a large amount of area that they could push snow in this area, and once it melts, it'll go through our treatment train.
Where is it again?
It's the snow removal is, there's a 10-foot strip here, and then there's a 10-foot strip that comes all the way across here. And then this is all snow removal down to the retaining wall. And then we also have snow removal all on this side of the parking lot.
How far from the purple line is that?
I'll show you on this one, back on the earlier one. So our snow removal is here and here. And I'd say the 10 feet is probably another 15 or 20 feet to the purple line from here, probably another 30 or 40 from here at least. Actually, this snow removal is outside the 50 right here. This is just inside the 50, so it's probably at least 15 or 15 feet or so.
They're not planning on using any chemical treatment for
No,
ice?
no, there's, on the operation and maintenance plan required, it forbids that, so no chemical treatment.
No salt?
No salt,
What are you gonna do, molasses?
yeah, sand it,
Sand it?
sand it.
Were these lines, the purple, the 50-foot and everything, were you, when we said something about working up to the purple, is this before we knew what was going in there? That we said it was okay?
This was an agreement between Mr. Snell and this
Yeah,
commission.
but this isn't,
Nobody had
we didn't know
anything
what was
designed.
going in there, there was
Nobody
no
had anything
design, no
designed,
nothing.
nothing.
So we didn't know 50-foot, 100-foot, what was gonna be in it, or anything like that?
No, no.
So this is,
This is just based on the agreement that you made with, what this commission made with Mr. Snell. The design was based on that. So there was no design, prior to that. So, in fact, I came in a little, I came in a little later on the project. So really, the design started maybe a month ago, tops.
So in terms of, you're still presenting?
Yeah, I can answer this.
Well, of course, the next question's gonna be, have you been thinking about mitigation?
Well, what we're doing here is we're taking a complete compact gravel parking lot, and we're going to pave a lot of it and treat the water, and we're also going to get rid of a lot of it and make it impervious. And we're gonna take a large amount of this area here, which is all gravel,
Yeah.
and replant it with grass. So we're taking an enormous amount of impervious, and we're making it impervious, and we're also taking a lot of compact gravel, untreated, going directly into the wetlands and treating it. And we figured that is mitigation. We're improving the site substantially, so we're thinking that's mitigation in itself.
And I'm assuming, I shouldn't probably, but you've done all you can to move everything to the other side of the 50 that you
Yeah.
feel is reasonable?
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. This, the sizes of the building and the type of operation that we need to do there requires a layout like this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where we are at this point.
What is that little feature, Dave, that comes off the little storage building in the bottom left? And it comes off the right side, what's that design feature, and then runs around the property?
Let's see if I can see where you.
See the little shed?
Yeah, the shed.
Right, that little,
storage shed.
that, no, bottom right, and then there's a line coming off of it.
Here?
No, bottom.
Oh, here.
Yeah, no, that one, yeah. What is that?
That's that's for the roof drain. This line right here?
No, go
I
down,
think he's talking about this one.
that one.
Oh, this is
Curbing?
this is the edge of the curbing. This is the Cape Cod berm.
Okay, all right.
So
that's-
as it
yeah.
curves around the
So it
building.
runs all the way
Yeah,
around,
yeah.
yeah.
So we can control the water, it doesn't run off into the
All right.
wetlands directly.
Okay,
It goes through our treatment system.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
what is the planning board required for number of parking spaces?
I'll put that right up here. The number of parking spaces, I have a calculation here. So for the warehouse space, they require 1,000, one space for 1,000 square feet. Office space, they require one space for 200 square feet. And then the highest amount of employees in the warehouse at any one time, they need one space for every 3 people. So having those calculations in these areas, I have 19,360 square feet of office, so that's, that's like 24 spaces. I believe it's 24. Actually, no, that's 96.8, I'm sorry. The warehouse is 24.7. So required is 123.5, and we have 126. Now, these numbers probably will never be met. I've talked with Mr. Hauser, not when he's operating there.
Yep.
These are extraordinary numbers that maybe a third of the parking lot will be filled at any one time with the number of employees he has.
Have you thought of asking the planning board for a variance?
I talked to Hugh early, and he believes that the parking requirements for office and warehouse aren't stringent enough. So, yes, I've gone down that alley, and I have talked, and he wants the full amount.
We see an awful lot of pavement unused. That's the only reason I'm bringing it up.
Well, and I'm just debating on, there's an awful lot of work in the 50. So,
I have a question, David.
Sure.
This area over here, is this lower than your parking lot or higher than your parking
That
lot?
will be lower than the parking lot.
And what's the use of it?
Well, we're already disturbing 4,500 square feet of riverfront. This is in the riverfront. Our use is going to be, let's get the gravel out of there, let's loam and seed it with permeable materials, and maybe a planting area or something. We're definitely gonna put a sign there along Manley Street.
All right, so it's basically a landscaped area.
It's a landscape area.
That
All right,
would look nice, yeah.
the commission gave you the ability to use up to that purple line,
That's correct.
and you're gonna be having some stormwater control outfalls in that area as well,
That's correct.
which goes right to the wetlands. I'm toying with the idea of suggesting to the commission that the snow removal isn't put in this area as well, because quite often in the snow there's contaminants, and I'm thinking of a condition that it all has to go into here or taken off the site.
Yeah, we've never, that I've been permitted them putting it next to the wetland. They've always had to have it somewhere else.
I can grade it so that the grade goes into the parking lot. I mean, the reason for the 10-foot buffer there was for the snow. And we can certainly grade it so it runs off at a 1 or 2% into the parking lot, which will require it to go through our treatment system.
That's better than having it flow towards the wetland.
And if we force it through the treatment center, it will, I mean, it's better than maybe placing it up there where it would be directly into the wetlands as well.
Yeah. I don't mean to interrupt your
Oh, no,
presentation,
I got a
but-
lot to talk about.
But I just want to kind of go back over how the agreed line, which is the purple line, came about. This whole site was historically used for storage trailer trucks on a gravel parking lot with no stormwater control whatsoever. No control over what was in the storage boxes. And as part of Mr. Snell's desire to sell the property, he recognized the fact that he was utilizing everything up to the purple line already and had disturbed all of that for all these years without any stormwater control. So he proposed to the commission that he would donate this land down in here for passive recreational purposes, which provided access to the river for canoeing and kayaking and some wetland walking trails and so forth, provided that the commission would agree to the purple line as the limit of work for any future development on the site. And I realized that he didn't have an idea at the time what type of use it was going to be, but the commission agreed to it. It got recorded at the registry, and it also had plans and deeds drawn up and recorded at the registry. So we really can't go back on the agreement and say, oh, you're doing too much in the 50-foot buffer. I know the commission protects the 50-foot buffer, but he offered a considerable amount of mitigation to compensate for allowing the continued use that's historically been out there in the 50-foot buffer. And I'm afraid that the commission can't go back on that agreement. So I
It
understand.
was all previously disturbed.
Yes.
I mean, there was containers and everything else in there, so, and trailers. And
I have no problem with it, but I just don't like when people come in front and push it to the limit of the size of the building that's got, they say that's gotta go in there, and they push it right up to the 50-foot buffer and ask for a variance for it. And when something else could possibly go in there later on, or whatever, smaller, and fit in there perfect, and fit within the boundaries and all that.
Gentlemen, can I make a comment? So I think Dave and Collins Engineering's efforts have been to comply with planning board's parking requirements. And as he noted earlier, we're currently at 105 employees. Right? So there's more parking spaces than there are employees. Over 50% of our workforce is field work that are at job sites all day long. They don't go to the office. Some of them we don't see all year long.
It sounds like you could put a smaller building there.
Well, it's the warehouse requirement that's needed. The parking is really the issue that's pushing the limits of
Between the
the
buildings.
space being used. And that's simply because of the parking requirements set by the planning board. So, you know, at West Chestnut Street, we have a much smaller location and a similar sized building with lower ceilings, and we're not able to warehouse the way we need to. So that's what's prompted the project. Now, from a snow standpoint, in Brockton, what we do now is
Well,
we
that's
lose
Brockton.
10 or 15 spots
That's
in the
not
middle
here,
of the
that's
parking
Brockton.
spot every year.
Yeah, but that's Brockton, that's not here, so.
Yeah, my point is that in terms of snow, instead of pushing it into the river or whatever, you know, we're used to losing parking spots and we still have enough
Well, you're not
parking.
gonna push it into the wetland either.
So if we have a condition that specifies that, plus David has indicated he might be able to change the grading, you don't have an issue with that? If we condition,
It was
Yeah,
simply-
I defer to the experts
It will
on
simply be,
the site
it
work.
would be simply be raising these snow areas here by a half a foot or a foot. And maybe and if they want to do a nice job on landscaping, there'd probably be arborvitae's there or some kind of a deciduous tree there that'll line the area. So, anyways, we can easily make the snow melt into the parking lot. I don't think the planning board's gonna give us any leeway as far as taking up spaces for snow. They normally don't do that.
do they condition their approval that you can't put snow in parking spaces?
Yeah, the way I understand yeah, they're gonna condition, I'm sure, that there will be no snow in any parking spaces. But we can, there's plenty of snow area here that we can run into the parking lot. There's basins here and here, catch basins, and we can take this snow here and here and run it into the parking lot. So anywhere inside the 100-foot buffer, where we store snow, we can run it into the parking lot.
So what happens if you get a foot of snow?
What
Every
happens-
other weekend, so
yeah.
you're gonna have to take it out of there probably.
10 feet is half the width of this building, and you can build that pretty high up.
So.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. You got the same problem on the whole road there. You've got a detention area that's taking snow, and they're pushing it all the time. They're at least controlling it.
No, I
And the
understand.
other thing we gotta be thankful for is that you're dealing with this operation and not trucking companies that were after that property bad. They want to use that for another trailer.
operation like me, and they would do nothing like this. We gotta be very thankful that we're gonna have a nice
But we
looking
also have
building.
conditions though too, so
What's that?
we also have conditions though too in bylaws that if trucking companies come to do, they wanna do something,
Yeah,
if they can't do it, then they're not gonna do it.
yeah,
So we just won't allow it to do it.
yeah, right.
So they gotta be
But
able
you're
to
gonna have
do something, no matter
good
what.
there in the corner.
You can come in and put whatever you want, but I mean, you at least gotta, I know what you guys are trying to do, you're trying to do good, but I mean,
Well, based on earlier agreements, we're trying to do.
It's
no, I understand that.
Isn't it all a moot point though? Because we've agreed on that.
So it's kinda
Right, where the
like,
line is
Yeah.
what they can work up to,
That's
so
right. So,
that's
yeah.
the limit of where they've got.
Let me ask you about that piece up in the front again, Dave.
Sure, right here.
Right there. The entrance to that park now, I mean, if that's done up really nicely, where you're gonna plant right out to Manly,
Sure, yeah.
I mean, if that's done really well, that looks nice when you're going into that park, I think.
That's
and
what we wanna do.
It really
would
does.
say a lot about the park, I think, as
Yeah.
people
I agree.
drive by, so
Yeah. They want it to be a showpiece.
I think
Okay.
that
as
would
long
look
as the rest
very
of the place
nice.
works good though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We don't-
better than the gravel that's there.
Well, that's right. Is it
We are
wooded now
improving
or
the site,
open?
if you look at it.
No, I'm not saying that you're not.
And the other thing you wanna realize is that is the best subdivision probably of any of the towns around, not only this town, but Bridgewater anywhere, because it has all underground utilities, curbings, and the whole setup of the road is just a first-class subdivision. So this is the kind of building that I was hoping was gonna go in there, not a trucking terminal, or I've had contractors that were after that have equipment parked there, and I realize you still have control, but it sure wouldn't be a nice entrance to that subdivision, so.
Or we could make it that way if we wanted to do.
And I've tried shifting the building, I've tried, for the size of the building that they require and the number of parking spaces that come along with that, this was essentially the best layout I could do. No matter how I turn that building, you either lose spaces on one side, gotta gain them on the other, or, it's just, you gotta fit it in here, and that's what it is, it's a controlled fit, what do you call it?
Yeah, just stuffing something in.
It's
To the
a fit.
limits, yeah.
It's a fit.
So not to belabor the snow removal thing, it appears that your client will be willing to allow us to write some conditions on snow removal and storage. We don't know what that is at this point, but it sounds as if they don't have an objection to that.
Yeah, I would prefer that it go out through our treatment training, system.
We'll
But,
work on that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I don't think we need to, like I say, belabor this point.
yeah.
My recommendation at this point, since this is a commercial development, that it go to the Commission's 53G reviewer. It's a third-party engineering company who will review the drainage and report back to the Commission when they're satisfied that the plans are fully compliant with the stormwater regulation and good engineering practice. And that would require your client to deposit with the Commission an amount of $4,000 to start with for the reviews. I don't anticipate that it would be more, but I can't say for certain. Next.
Is that okay with you?
Yes, sir.
Next, no one from the Commission or the Commission's 53G witnessed any of your test pits out there. This has been Board of Health approved. We had the You
Board of
didn't
Health
hear what I
agent.
said.
Yeah, I know. I just wanna let you know that the Board of Health agent was out there,
So
and he walked around the whole
Commission-
site.
As the
The
board
Commission's gonna
knows.
Yeah.
require that someone be out there, either me or the 53G, to verify the water table. We don't necessarily rely on the Board of Health agent or just the fact that a PE was out there looking at the soils. The Commission has to have eyes on the ground to see what's happening there, because we're conservative about that.
Yeah.
We take it very, we feel it's very important to know where the seasonal high groundwater table is so that it doesn't affect your stormwater
So do
management
we.
system.
So do we.
So that will have to be rescheduled, either again with me or the 53G. And that's about all I have at this point. I think you know, you can make some more presentation, but I think until we get a review by the engineer and they feel that the plans are somewhat close, then we can
Yeah, I mean,
discuss
if
it.
anybody has any more questions, I think you get the gist of what is going on here. And it really comes down to the review engineer, stormwater management, that type of thing.
Any commissioners have any other questions or comments?
No?
Okay. Anybody in the audience? Questions, comments? All right, then I am going to entertain a motion to hire a 53G.
Make the motion.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. And I'll entertain a motion to continue the hearing to next meeting.
Yes, that would work for us. We're ready.
Give us time to get that all done.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
So that'll be April 5th, 6:30.
All set for now.
Great, thank you.
All set.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Next, we have 63 East Center Street. For a notice intent for repair of a failed septic system. And do we have
I'll
somebody
see you
presenting
right
that one, John?
Yep.
Still on.
Yeah, I'm still on. I'm moving over here.
There we go.
I'm moving out of sight. So unfortunately, we never received a DEP file number yet
Okay.
on this project. So, and I looked just before I came over here. No DEP file number. I don't know what the board requires. Normally, we just open the hearing and then continue it. I don't know if we could discuss it or not. That would be up to the board, but without a DEP file number, they normally just continue it.
We open the hearing, we have the discussion, we just won't close it until we get the DEP file number.
Okay, sure.
It's when you don't notify butters that we open it and don't say a word. And
Oh, yeah. Yep, okay, yep, absolutely.
so did you notify butters?
Yes, believe that, you have the cards already?
All right.
And are you a butters for this project?
No, I'm
The applicant.
Oh, I'm sorry. George knows you, I don't.
Glad to introduce you to the engineer.
One of the engineers. There's a whole group of us behind the curtains. All right. So this is a addition type of septic repair, and basically we have the property in yellow. We have the green by Brook Monroe. The 50 is the orange. The pink is the 100. We have the riverfront area shown in the dash blue for the 200. And, or actually, what is that? That is the,
This is a 50. Here.
that's the 100, that's the 200 right here. Riverfront area. So all the work is gonna happen between, say, the 50 and the 200-foot RFA. This is a pre-existing lot. We want to put an addition to the house. This will be like a family room type of addition, no bedrooms, just family room and a garage. And then the septic system itself is going to be outside the 100-foot buffer. We do provide siltation control, and it will start out here by the chain link fence, come around the work limit area, come over on the existing garage area off the corner, go out to the house, and that will be it. Everybody can come in from East Center Street down the rather large driveway. There's plenty of work to work outside the 100-foot buffer for the system itself, and it will be within the 100-foot buffer for the addition and the porch and the garage. I guess I'll just open it up to questions if the board has any.
It looks like the
existing-
addition is,
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, you're right up against the 50 there. I mean, you can't even walk around it.
Yeah, I think that's a bulkhead right there on the right upside, right on the, yeah.
And no matter what you do, you're gonna work in the 50, I would assume.
Yeah, we do have a waiver to work in the 50. You can see the silt fence comes off the garage. This is pre-disturbed area right here. Just this small, tiny area here, so that vehicles can get around.
Is that lawn right now?
Yes, yes.
That's all lawn right there.
Okay,
anyways.
that
Yeah.
answers that.
And that, we just talk about the garage that exists.
Well,
in
the
garage.
existing garage that's there is gonna stay,
The existing garage is
It's the
going to
back.
stay, yep,
okay, and the pavement that goes to it is staying or
yes.
removed?
No, that's gonna have to come out.
Oh, we're removing this pavement here, because the garage will be, the house will cut it off.
Okay, I was just trying to figure out why
Yeah,
you,
you can't,
okay.
yeah, can't, we're not gonna drive through.
It's just gonna be a general administrative stormwater permit?
Uh,
Didn't see a filing for that
We
one.
did do a general stormwater, I think, permit on this. We did, I saw it on the checklist.
Okay.
It doesn't say on the.
Yeah, it doesn't say it on the notice, that's why I was just checking.
You know, I'm gonna make sure I check into that, because this.
Okay.
I lost my pen.
Do you have, plans for roof drains for the new,
I asked George about that. He had not planned to put any roof drains in. I don't know how the board feels about that. If you'd like us to try to fit some in, we certainly can.
No gutters? No nothing?
There will be, I don't know if there was gonna be gutters on the addition. There most likely will be.
so this proposed garage is in paved area according to the drawing?
It is in a paved area.
And the proposed addition is in the grass area?
Yeah, the proposed addition is in the paved area as well. That's where the turnaround is. The proposed, the proposed garage. So the proposed garage is in, and then some of the proposed addition is in the paved area, and then a portion of it's in the grass.
What was the old septic?
The old septic,
Up at the corner of the
yeah,
addition?
it's hard to see sometimes because it's sometimes buried right where the existing septic is.
It's right about where the porch
Oh, I see it,
exists,
yeah.
at the corner of the
There's one
porch.
right here, right
The
along
new
the
one?
50-foot, there's a leaching pit.
Yeah.
You can see it right here, it's right along the 50-foot line.
So it's gonna be moved considerably further from,
It's gonna be moved outside the 100, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a big improvement.
yeah. John, any questions, comments?
Only that we may, at the next hearing, decide on whether a roof drain is important, and I think it is. I think to be consistent, we should have at least an attempt to infiltrate some of the roof runoff, even if part of it's, of the addition is gonna be on existing driveway. Some of it isn't, so we should account for that.
Would you mind if we stuck it in here? It would be in the 50, but it would be infiltration.
What's wrong with this area here?
Yeah, I mean,
If you're gonna dig up,
absolutely. we
if you're
can
gonna
take-
dig up the
yeah.
old driveway there.
Yeah, we can
Right.
put it right in there, absolutely.
Okay.
What's with the garage again that's coming down?
That's
No,
staying.
that's-
That's staying.
That's
Staying.
That's gonna be.
And
an
what's
accessory.
that deck up in the corner?
It's a grape arbor. It's an
Okay,
arbor.
all right.
How old's that house?
The records say it's 1900, but
Wow.
I don't know. I think it was refurbished in 45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still, I mean, it's still old.
The barn certainly is. I think the barn is probably Civil War.
Yeah.
Because it's post and beam and.
Really?
Well, at least
Which is-
everything, looks like it's gonna be, everything inside of 50, tucked in, even though it's tight,
Right.
so that's good.
All the basic work will be,
Yeah, and the septic's
outside and
way
Yeah,
off
it's
and-
pre-disturbed area.
yeah, I mean, it's all lawn area
Yeah, it's
already,
lawn
so
area.
it's not like,
Okay.
all right. Other than maybe adding the roof drains, I think that in the DEP file.
Yeah, I'll look into both of those.
Anybody have anything else?
Mm-mm.
Then I'll entertain a motion to continue till April.
Make the motion.
I'll second it.
Moved and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
See you April 5th.
So moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
continued public hearings. We have
Nice meeting you.
We have Sunset Ave extension,
Meet you earlier.
COC.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Have a good evening.
Yeah, you too.
Hey, David, you're on. Did you not expect to be talking tonight?
I wasn't sure what to expect, John.
Yes, it
What I
is.
can help with, I'll be glad to help with.
All right, the background on this is that this Sunset Ave extension is a subdivision road that was approved quite a few years ago, and then it lost its validity due to the time frame, and they reissued it, and we had a second DEP file number on it, and now that it's done, they need to close it out. There's houses on all of these lots now, and the owners of these lots are gonna need to have the fact that the order of conditions for the roadway has been closed out with a COC, and it's also necessary because it's gonna be up for consideration at town meeting. So I did my inspection today, and this is the previous owner of this lot before it was built upon. Both these lots were bought by Mr. Ephraim Mendes, and he sold it to two different builders, and they've got their houses up now. This fellow has a driveway that appears that it's gonna take the runoff from the from all of this road in this area, from this catch basin all the way down to this catch basin. Is supposed to go into that catch basin, but it looks to me like the driveway is lower than the catch basin here, so the water will come down and go into this gentleman's driveway and short circuit into the detention basin without going into the catch basin. So I just did an inspection late today and noticed that, so I didn't have a chance to talk to David, who's representing the developer on this. So I don't know how to proceed with that, because the road is finished paved. It's got granite curbing all the way around except for at the driveway entrances. And so to correct that, it's gonna be a problem for the developer, which he has no control over what people do with a driveway. So it's really the gentleman that now owns this house is gonna have to redo his driveway to some extent to keep the water from coming in on it. So I'm gonna recommend that the commission issue a certificate, even though there's this obvious issue, but it's not the developer's issue, it's the builder who put the driveway in too low for the house that's now on this property. So that's my recommendation.
So they have to work it out.
They're gonna have to straighten out, or we can't accept the water short circuiting, so we're gonna have to order them to do it.
Yeah.
And he's gonna say, well, gee, the developer should have done it, and no, it's private land, so.
Main thing is the street's fine.
Yes.
Somebody will have a nice big speed bump at the end of their driveway.
So I was just gonna say that, a little burn on it.
Now, I haven't looked at, they haven't asked for their certificate yet on this property. And I haven't looked at the engineered plan, who was wasn't a different engineer, sorry, the same engineer that designed the roadway did the lot. And I wanna see what that plan shows for grading on that driveway. And if the engineer was doing if the engineering company was doing its homework, they would have realized that this driveway has to come up and prevent the water from running into it. If the builder just haphazardly decided on their own to do whatever they wanted and not make the driveway higher to save a little bit of money in grading, then it's all on them. But if it starts a short circuit, we're gonna have to do a stormwater enforcement against the homeowner.
Mm.
So it's gonna be an issue, but it, again, it's not this developer's doing, let's say. And the only other question I have is, I went through my emails and you had sent me a picture of a hood on a catch basin. When I go out and do my photography for inspections, I try to take a picture of the catch basin with something that shows me where is this on the face of the earth. You know, is it near house number 61 and 79 or whatever? And then I shoot the catch basin. So the first shot's looking at it from a distance, the second is into the catch basin. All I had is the one that you showed me in the catch basin. All right, can you tell me that the picture of the hood is in that double catch basin?
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Because of the orientation of the curb on that particular catch basin, the hole that's in the flat top is rotated a little bit. So instead of being directly in the center, it's offset a little bit.
Yep.
And so you couldn't see it. So when we cleaned it, we had the two grates off.
Yep.
So I had Dave snap a shot of it. The other two were a single and they were in the center, so you could see the hoods real
Yep.
easy.
So I verified the other ones. I just couldn't do that one, but again, I've been working with this gentleman and he's been very thorough and staying on top of everything. So I just needed to ask that in the public forum so that we had it on the record, David. That's why I was questioning it. So my recommendation is issue a COC on it.
Anybody questions, comments? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to issue certificate of compliance.
I'll make the motion.
Second it.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
373 Crescent Street, are we still waiting?
Yes. I hope we aren't trying to hold our breath on that one.
13 Lamp Post Lane and 9 Lamp Post. You want to do them together or separately? Minor project change on both.
Yeah. You can do them both.
Would you put in pools? Putting in pools?
Oh, no. Just
Some minor
foundations
change?
that are a little bit different than what was on the original stormwater permit plans.
All right, so the commission issues a order of conditions or stormwater permit or both, referring to a specific plan. And then when the building permit comes in, I'm reviewing a building permit and the plan that's accompanying it, and it's different. And so then I question the builders, are you aware that there's more than one plan on this property? And for the most part, they don't know that. And so in order to get the record straight, I've asked that they submit a request for a minor project change in referring to the plan that was part of the building permit as an additional plan. And then I looked at both, and it's not changing anything substantial enough to make a difference, but it is a different plan, so technically it's different. And I think in order to overcome that technicality, we just need to have the commission approve the request that came in referring to the plans that went with the building permit. So it's a lot of technicalities here that we're dealing with more than any actual impact on the lots.
Okay.
So I'm recommending both minor project changes.
What were the minor changes? just briefly?
Dimensioning of the house, so
Okay.
instead of being a 24 by 30, these aren't the dimensions, but instead of being a 24 by 36, it's a 26 by 36.
Okay.
And again, as long as the grading was the same around
Yeah.
the thing, I didn't have an issue with the dimensions.
Okay.
But if an attorney pulled out all the records
Oh,
and saw
sure.
that we approved a November plan and
The planning, yeah, the building department had a more recent one than,
That's right. No, I understand.
so this corrects it, makes it technically correct.
all right. Then I'll entertain a motion for minor project changes on 13 and 9 lamppost.
I'll make that motion.
Second it.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Well,
Thank you.
while you're here, you're probably gonna need to deal with another issue on number 1 lamppost. It's the first lot when you go in. It's the first lot on the right as soon as you go in, and it's between lampposts and the existing house that used to be there, number 375 Lincoln Street. The plan that the commission approved was a walkout, and the grading was to be just exactly the way the lot was originally, with drainage that headed to a yard inlet up near the intersection of Lamppost and Lincoln Street and South Elm Street. And then the other direction of the flowage was into a sediment basin that would take it across the street and into the stormwater basin on the other side of the street. Somehow, the suggestion that this engineer worked hard at preparing a plan, the developer and the site contractor decided that it's not going to be a walkout, that they have a bulkhead, and that instead of having retaining walls on either side of the back of the house and letting it be a walkout, they decided that they were going to put fill. Now that's all now shedding water towards the owner of 375.
Yeah.
She's contacted me. She wants to know whether she should get an attorney, and I would like to get the engineer, the site contractor, and the builders for the 2 lots, the one at 1 lamppost and the one at 5 lampposts. Is that 5? The
Lot
next one-
6
It's the
The next one up on the,
on the right.
I think it's number 5.
right.
I have been going by lot numbers, and to switch over to the house
I
numbers.
know, it's tough. So I want to get all.
The first 2 as you go in.
Yeah, I know which
I
one.
want to get all those parties talking so that they're not going to impact 375. And I just wanted to mention it while you're here so that you're aware of what the issue is. And again, it's not him.
Right.
He
He
draws the
designed
plan.
it right, somebody just
How
decided to
much of a
change.
grade is it?
It's sharp.
That's
It's
a
pretty
big
big.
grade,
I've
yeah.
seen the
So
foundation
water
in
would
there,
come
and
off
it's,
the house,
That's a big grade,
Yep,
yeah.
flow towards the,
which
now
is
there's room to deal with it. We just need to
Yeah.
deal with it because
the
the
lady
plan,
was worried about that.
the plan is showing one thing and now they're
Yeah.
building something else.
Yeah.
So everybody else decided that his plan was a suggestion and that they don't have to follow it. Well, they're gonna learn that the commission isn't gonna accept that kind of stuff, so we're gonna do.
and hopefully it'll get resolved sooner than later with spring rains coming. I
I
mean,
mean, we're due to have some drier weather at this point.
Do, yeah.
You know, if they can get in, next one, next meeting.
I mean,
Has
it's-
she
I've
had
seen the amount of fill that's
water?
there, and
She's worried that, I mean, she claims it,
She's
but
got
I
a
mean, I
house-
can't verify
Yeah.
that, but.
No, that's
Didn't
not
she
really
say
the
there
point.
was,
Yeah.
there was water coming in one of the windows
yeah, already she was saying
already?
that
So I
there
mean,
was-
to put all that in there, that's gonna be more of a problem,
yeah.
big problem for her.
Okay,
So we'll be talking to you,
Okay,
all right?
thank you.
all right, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
343, 349 West Center Street.
So this is the dentist's office up on West Center Street, Dr. Taba, I believe, and Michael Taba, Dr. Michael Taba, dentist, DMD. He posted a $6,000 surety bond with us that they would get their COC.
Was that the Happy Smiles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Healthy Smiles?
Yeah.
The new place?
The new one,
The
yeah.
new one.
Oh, okay, all right.
And they have done that, they've recorded it, and now he's requesting a return, so
Oh, okay.
I'm recommending return of his surety.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to return it.
I'll second that.
Moving second, all's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved.
Now to a thorny issue.
586 Manley Street.
So the first drawing, or exhibit I'm gonna bring up is a aerial photo from 2019. So, at home, can you see my cursor moving around?
Yes.
All right. So the lot is all of this area here. It had a dwelling here, a barn here. It was a horse farm type thing. A contractor bought the property, converted this into a office building for his contracting equipment. And he had approval for stormwater management on the front portion of this property up to this tree line. He also had filed for a request to be able to take this low spot in here and fill it in and create a replication area over here adjacent to the wetland. This was just a drainage issue in the field. It wasn't acting like a vernal pool or anything. It was just collecting water temporarily during the spring and not lasting very long, but keeping the soil so that it was just too muddy to be able to drive equipment on. So the commission gave him the permission to do that, provided he compensate for it over here outside the wetland but adjacent to this wetland. And he went through that process. He also received permission to put an additional building on this portion up here and had a stormwater basin approved that's in this area here. And that's where everything stood until one day, and I'll stop sharing this photograph, I get a call to investigate an issue up there. And I'll give you the next slide.
How current is the satellite shots
Yes,
usually? Are they,
Says 2020, doesn't it?
2020. This is
2021.
2020.
okay. All right.
This is October 2020
Yeah.
even, so it's,
So, here's the original building that he converted into an office space. He's storing trailer trucks and all kinds of trucks, different types of trucks in this area. He's gone in here and put down some type of a processed gravel pad and making this available for any contractor that wants to pay him to come in and use this space, sort of like a rent a contract yard. He's stockpiling material in here. He's got other vehicles stored here, and this is in October of 2020.
now behind those trucks that he has lined, it looks like he had started the basin or the drainage system possibly, or no?
No, I
Couldn't tell what that
It
area
looks
was.
like a basin, doesn't it?
It looks like it, but I'm pretty sure it's just.
Right, I mean, I couldn't tell whether it's just stockpiled material or a depression in a,
All right, so I'll stop sharing this one, and I'll take one from 2021, and it's the same in 2022, so I just wanted to use 2021. Oh, don't want to do that.
I still don't see the restoration or the replication area.
He's working all the way up to it.
Nothing.
He's not doing anything, he's working
Right,
all the way up to it.
right. It, yeah,
There's no
that should have,
replication.
yeah.
That whole area right
That's
there.
part of his, yeah.
So this is a Mass GIS from 2021. I went out and met with the owner and his engineers, and they were in the process of doing a existing conditions plan as part of the showing that they complied with creating the wetland area, which I think is actually this area here. And of course, the engineer working for him was the one that proposed it. But the engineer was also somewhat concerned about the fact that his client had done this work without any approval. And so I met with him and the contractor, and I also met with a person who is interested in purchasing this property. And he is in the process of hiring a different engineer to do a site plan for this property, which could, at some point, eliminate a lot of this violation that we see here and propose something different, but with stormwater controls that none of this has. And so we have to first decide how we're going to handle the current owner of the property who's trying to sell it to this other individual. And my recommendation is that there's been 474 days of violation, and that's approximate because I don't know when he started, but we know he was there October of 2020, and I spoke to him early in February. And so between early February and of 2022 and October of 2020, it's a 474 days at a violation of $71,100, and that's using $150 per day. Technically, you could go as high as $300 a day. But what I would like to do is send the owner a letter saying that the commission voted to fine him $71,100, and he'll probably come back in and say, I'm not paying it, and then we have to decide what.
I'd also like to give him a 60-day order to get that replication done. He's got to really, if it hasn't been, it doesn't look like by this plan or this photo that it's been.
Because whoever comes in there next time and buys this, they gotta leave that alone.
Right, that replication has to be done now. It's already been filled in.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already taken advantage of filling in what he said he was gonna fill to replicate.
Well,
Replication shouldn't be the next person's problem.
No.
Now,
It should be
The-
done now.
the
And
wetland scientist who supervised the restoration, which is in this area, has said that, in his opinion, it's pretty close to what was required. He just hasn't been paid to go out and do a final.
Oh, what, so something was done?
Something was done. We just don't know if it's enough or, I mean, again, the fellow says that he
It's
thinks
hard to
it,
tell.
right, I mean,
he thinks it is, but we have to see it on a plan and we have
Yeah.
to have it actually in writing and then have to go out and verify it. So, I do know that I went out and saw part of the initial construction for the restoration area. I just haven't been called back to do an inspection. The engineer wasn't called back. The wetland scientist wasn't called back to do his necessary reports, and he isn't gonna do them without getting paid.
Right.
So this owner is aware that he's in violation, and he can't deny it.
No.
He's only gonna complain about the fine. So I'm thinking if we start at $150 a day,
which is half of what we could go for. So we're already giving him a break.
if he
Well,
starts.
if you went to the top end, he's gonna negotiate
Right,
that
down,
too.
right.
Do you wanna
Why
do,
not
you wanna-
start at the top?
wanna start at the top?
Sure. Now,
And he's
what
gonna,
was he going to do with that property? Do we,
Looks like
was
he's
there
gonna sell
any?
it too. Well, it looks like he's trying to he's trying to rent it to make money off of it, and now it looks like he's gonna sell it, or wants to sell it.
So we had no idea he was gonna put trailers and
No,
trucks.
No.
that wasn't,
No, his initial development was right up here, and we actually have permits. He's gone through the process to get the permits for everything up here.
The trucks.
No, it was gonna be a contractor's yard with stormwater management systems, an additional building, and he took it from there and just decided that I'm going to put processed gravel out there
Makes some extra money.
and start renting it out so I can make some money.
with no
The issue
controls
is
and
the
no.
trucks and dripping oil and all that.
And no stormwater control.
without a
just-
permit, yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna need a certificate of compliance to sell the property, I would assume, at some point.
Yes.
Is
So-
this a corporation, John, or an individual?
Well, he's a small-time contractor who has a corporation. The company
not a
that
big-
wants to come in is quite large. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
well-known.
But he's not a big.
No.
Maybe you can work something out with whoever wants to come in to help pay the fine. As long as you get the fine paid.
So the new people coming in can still utilize this area just like this guy is,
Yeah.
but they want to go through the right process and permit it and have it with some stormwater controls, knowing that that's what the requirement is. This guy just said, let's just do it.
Well, they may walk when they see what they're up against.
Not.
No, he's staying right on top of it, and he wants to know how this will affect him, and
On
so,
the sale, yeah.
yeah.
Well, add another fine to it, to the price, and be able to say, I'll take care of it all, and
Yeah.
give it
Yeah,
to me, and
to
I'll
the
take care of
sale
it,
price.
take care of everything.
So I have a contract that the new potential buyer has with an engineer that will do the whole site plan and do a top-notch job, because I know the firm. The current owner only has a contract with the original engineer to do the as-built of the restoration area. So I have both contracts.
Would he have to come in and scrape the surface of all the, and remove it because it's been contaminated, or,
Probably the top of everything, yeah. be
or
processed
cover
everything.
it, one or the other, I guess, right?
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
say-
think he came in and stripped the farm field that was out
Okay.
there,
No, I mean the
sold
new,
the loan.
the new owner.
The
Yeah, 'cause
new
he-
owner will have to,
You put some processed stuff down there, so I'm
Scrape
sure he's
it
gonna have
or
to scrape
cover
it
it.
up.
will have to make a determination as
Yeah.
to whether, this is actually on a, what do you call those, water resource protection district,
Oh, great.
and it's zoned industrial.
Oh,
How does that make sense?
Well,
no.
You have industrial land on top of the or water resource protection district
Yeah.
with no control over what's going through the soil and into the aquifer.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still do that, but you have to permit uses and control what happens with those uses and any contaminants that are associated with those uses. And if you don't have any of those controls over it, then you're liable to hurt your aquifer.
What's
So-
that way over on the left, John? I'm trying to picture it.
This here? Oh, this here.
that's
Yeah.
This
Easton.
is
Turnpike
Street
Easton.
and all the industrial uses
Off
over
of
there
West
too.
West Chestnut?
No,
It's Easton.
West Chestnut's way up here, and it intersects with Turnpike, which is over here.
Yeah.
Onto
Okay,
the-
so that, as you go off West Chestnut.
If you were Chestnut and take a left
Yeah.
at the end of it, that's
Down in
Turnpike
there.
that goes
Yeah.
down.
Okay.
Yep.
But so now you got industrial uses and who knows what going into the Cohasset Brook.
That's Brockton, though, right?
No, it's still
Oh,
West Bridgewater.
That's
Is
still
it?
West Bridgewater?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, it
yeah.
is, okay.
And we've got this type of stuff going into the wetlands in Cohasset Brook.
Oh, that's right, yeah, it is still West Bridgewater, yeah, that's right.
So you'll, what do you prepare, a letter?
Yep. I've sent out, actually, I just sent out a second violation notice to 25 River Street today. They have a driveway that's running mud right into the catch basin in the street, and I sent them a letter on March 2nd and said,
Is that the?
call me,
is that the
your first violation is basically a lecture from me that you shouldn't do those and you gotta correct it right away. Well, he didn't call me for the lecture, so I sent him a second letter and said, you're in your second violation and now you have to make a check payable to the town. So this guy will get a letter, and if you vote to send it, it'll go out at the $300 a day, which is twice this amount. And make the check payable to the town of West Bridgewater. And we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion to send a violation letter.
Yeah, because he didn't do anything with all permits, so that's, yeah. I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Especially considering he's already been in, didn't he come in a second time?
Yeah.
For that, yeah, 'cause it was the original proposal and then he came in with an
The
amended,
addition.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, he knew what was allowed.
At the 300, right?
Yes.
That's one of the difficulties we have, or John has with this limited time, is how do you police
Yeah, yeah.
all this? You can't, really.
So he's, you know, you drive down Manley Street and you can't see behind here
That's
until,
right.
Yeah, you
because it
can't,
goes down,
Yeah.
and you have to actually go onto the property, so.
Yeah.
I think it's time we get that drone for you.
Would that be helpful?
Let's see if we can take it out of the fine. Price
Yeah, take it out of the fine.
We could afford to buy one for him.
Yeah,
It-
from the fine.
Benjamin, can we buy a good drone for $71,000?
Yes.
They're not very, how expensive are they?
It depends.
Nice one, yeah.
Nicer ones when you go up with, the big thing is flight, how high you're gonna go up, how long you're gonna stay up there for.
Yeah.
We bought one for 400, but it only stays up for like 15 minutes. That's not a lot of time though, once you get
Not
everything
bad.
set up, battery powered.
You gotta learn how
It's
to
enough to
fly
take,
it.
right.
So we can
And
get,
I was
we can get another one for you.
shooting over where Snell's property was for
Yeah.
an open space
Oh, yeah.
over that
Yeah.
area, so.
Yeah.
I think it might be worth having.
Yeah, it's a tool in the toolbox.
Send John to pilot school.
You can just come down to the studio, we'll show you.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, I haven't tested out ours, because ours was probably a decent one, give it a demo.
Probably be shocked at what you find with it.
I know it.
Oh, invoices?
Just to mention about the conservation participation, I sent out an idea, and after giving it some thought, it seems like it's gonna be too hard to really coordinate all that, so my thought is that we can partner with some of the other groups and hand out some swag that has the bicentennial logo and conservation logo and participate that way. And so I'll come up with a couple other ideas, but I think it was too optimistic to try to deal with another conservation district out in Worcester, coordinating, picking everything up and paying for it and getting it delivered and handing it out. I just think we don't have a lot of time to do that, so on second thought, it's not such a great idea, and maybe we should look for some other place to purchase those small seedling trees and not be held to their schedule, because we still have the rest of this year to do the bicentennial celebration, so we can maybe look at an alternative supplier. And
I'll come up with some ideas, and because you still could do
You
something
do
in
that?
Park Day if you wanted to in the fall,
Right.
which would give.
Your company does those things, right?
We don't do little enough ones
don't
for
do
giveaway, but
seedlings?
I know sources that I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
get some.
Right.
Yeah.
so we'll still work on that, but I just think trying to squeeze it in that short amount of time where
'Cause
they
I
need.
did look at the Worcester one too, and I think their giveaway ends beginning of April or something.
Yeah.
So you'd be sitting on something for a while, making sure it stayed alive till
Watering.
Riverwalk. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like John said, timing was a little off.
So the only invoice or warrant thing that we need to sign is the return of surety for the Dr. Taba for his
Healthy
$6,000.
Smiles.
So that's it. Everything else is signing for the order of conditions for what do we have here? 450 East Center Street. Did we close that one? Let's see. East Center.
Yep, that one,
Yeah, we did close that one.
Yeah.
So we have East Center Street order and conditions, and we have the
Sunset Ave.
Sunset Ave, COC, and the surety. Those are the only three documents. Other than that, no more business unless one of the
Alright.
commission members does.
Anybody else have anything else?
No.
All right, hearing nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second that.
Moved and second, everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yippee.